All right, we saw Tropical Cyclone Marcus form yesterday, and it's continuing to bring heavy rainfall, gales today for parts of the Darwin region around Van Diemen's Gulf area. And let's take a look at the forecast for the remainder of today. We have this system right over here making its westerly track. Now, the worst weather in Darwin is going to occur when you start to feel those northerly winds coming through, west-northwesterly or northerly winds. That's when the worst of the weather is expected, because that's when the winds are onshore for you, and so that's when you get those winds really drawing from the Arafura Sea, parts of the Timor Sea, all that moisture coming towards you. And as it gets, the cyclone itself actually looks to come quite close to Darwin, so you actually get some pretty gusty winds with it, and if you're in that northerly aspect, that'll cause some very heavy showers as well. So that's the main threat there. But also you'll see a bit of a storm surge with it, so coastal locations definitely not the place to be. All right, let's take a look at the forecast further ahead. Tropical Cyclone Marcus is likely to strengthen later today and into tomorrow morning, I should say, as it moves into the Timor Sea and starts to move over those warmer waters and gets less interaction with land. Now, we do have the threat of it then moving over the northern Kimberley region, which is why we've seen tropical cyclone watches extended there. And it's mostly going to first affect northern parts of the Kimberley and then parts of the West Kimberley a little bit later. No matter how you split it, we are expecting totals 150, that's that red shading, right from the northern Kimberley and across the coast of the top end. Now, what's happening over here isn't actually due to Tropical Cyclone Marcus. This is what's going to be happening Thursday, Friday next week. So it actually looks like another tropical low could hit eastern parts of the top end. But notice how we have potentially in excess of 300 to 400 millimeters around the top end, including around the Tiwi Islands. That's going to generate flash flooding, and it's going to generate river flooding today and into tomorrow. All right, for the southeast today, it's hot, and it's going to continue to be hot overnight. In fact, we do have severe fire dangers already today in South Australia, Victoria. But something I want to point out is that it's actually going to get windier during the nighttime in Victoria across the south, and that's why we have severe weather warnings already issued for that. Now, winds keep the temperatures up overnight, and actually the air is actually warming up the touch overnight in the upper atmosphere, the mid-atmosphere, really. So the combination of that means that the fire danger overnight is actually going to be comparable to the fire danger that you're seeing during the day. So that's going to be quite hot, potentially as hot as 30 degrees by the time we get to nighttime for some parts of Victoria's Melbourne, Geelong regions. Saturday's areas on screen, severe fire danger for much of central and eastern Victoria. And as the cold front then rolls through during the morning, it'll bring a sharp, cool change with it. So that'll hit you in Adelaide overnight and into tomorrow morning. Melbourne sometime probably mid-morning there, and Hobart probably sometime late morning, early afternoon. Rapid temperature drops and showers with that change. But New South Wales then becomes the focus of fire danger on Saturday as temperatures look to hit levels not reached in at least 14 years for autumn. That includes parts of the Illawarra, Sydney, and the Hunter regions. But it will cool rapidly down. But ahead of that, severe fire danger and total fire bans in effect. Greater Sydney, Greater Hunter, and Illawarra Shoalhaven. Those are very populated areas. The cool change will cause temperature drops around 10 to 15 degrees within the short amount of time that it hits you. But it is going to be a dry cool change, so unfortunately for firefighters, that's not good news, because all it means is that if a fire is already in place, it's just going to start burning out of control in a different direction. What brings dangerous fire weather? In Australia, we measure fire danger in terms of weather by the MacArthur Forest Fire Danger Index. You've probably seen this if you live in regional or rural areas. There's generally signage which tells you how bad the fire danger is. When you get to severe and above, extreme and catastrophic, or code red if you live in Victoria, then you start getting total fire bans issued and also fire weather warnings. Basically, for these three categories, when fires start, they will quickly become out of control. For extreme fire danger, well, embers can then be flung several kilometers ahead of the main fire front. And catastrophic fire danger essentially means there's very little you can do to protect yourself from a fire. It's going to be moving very, very quickly. We're talking wind speeds over 70 kilometers an hour with some of these catastrophic fire dangers. So that is a very, very fast-moving fire. That was actually introduced in 2009 after Black Saturday. Now, what do you need for this fire danger? Well, you need dry vegetation, because if the vegetation is not dry, then the fire is not going to burn very quickly, and it's going to smoke itself out. So you need dry vegetation. The Gascoyne area is one such example which has dry vegetation. But we're also seeing very dry vegetation across western and central Victoria, much of New South Wales and South Australia, and eastern Tasmania right now. And that's where the fire danger is this weekend. We also need very hot temperatures. Don't need it too hot, but you need it hot enough. And you also need gusty winds, because the fire is not going to blow itself, although it sometimes does, but for the most part, synoptic winds help with that fire. So dry and gusty winds are critical. Hot temperatures help a lot, and the vegetation is also critical. So when you get these things combining together, that's when you get dangerous fire weather, and that's what we're seeing this weekend.